where we start today's programme, surprisingly, is Group H, which, of course, Benfica and PSG were already through to the next round before the final round of matches. PSG went to Juventus and won, so we thought that would be it, done and dusted. But because Benfica won by 6-1 against Maccabi Haifa, it means that the Portuguese side finished top of the group and therefore, in theory, an easier draw when it comes to the knockout stages, of course, which will be decided on Monday who they'll face. Gab, this is quite something. Obviously, you needed this goal swing, which just all ran away from itself, really, in the last 30 minutes of this game. They scored 5, Mario scoring in the 92nd minute, and it went down to, what, the 7th separator between deadlock points?
That's right, João Mario with the goal that gives Benfica first place. The financial implications of this are huge. The sporting implications, as you said, far likelier to get an easier draw. And conversely, Paris Saint-Germain far likely to get a tougher draw. Manchester City, Bayern. Gee, wouldn't that be fun? I mean, fun for the neutral, I guess. It's pretty remarkable. And I think, I guarantee you I haven't seen Thursday morning's French newspapers because it's still Wednesday in Paris. But I'll tell you what, there will be people who will murmur, who will speculate, who will say, oh, well, in the end, Benfica scoring all those goals in the second half, Maccabi Haifa packed it in. And the answer to that is very simple. Paris Saint-Germain played Benfica. They could have, that was the tiebreaker. It finished even in those two games. And that's why it comes down to the 7th tiebreaker. Simple as.
Yeah, 1-1, of course, it finished when Benfica and Paris Saint-Germain met both times in the group stages. But it's kind of difficult, isn't it, to have a go at PSG in this scenario? It's kind of a freak game, isn't it?
I mean, 6-1 is a freak result, but you got to credit Benfica for doing their part. It is what it is. Yeah. It is what it is, and they've just made it probably more difficult for themselves. Kylian won't be happy. No, it's not going to be a happy chap.
Kylian won't be happy. He scored a lovely goal today. He
did score a lovely goal off that left-hand side when he was getting fouled and curled it in the far corner. But yeah, it just makes it even more difficult for them. But that's a scenario that they face, and they've just got to get on with it.
I think I'm with Gab. I mean, if we turned around and said to PSG before a ball was kicked, you're going to draw with the team that we all expect to be third in this setup, you wouldn't be happy. And that's exactly what's happened.
Well, Benfica second. They drew with Benfica twice.
Yeah,
and that's where they got the points.
That's what I'm saying. But we all expected Juventus and PSG to go through. Yeah. So the expectation was Benfica were going to be third in this group. And as I said, if we'd said at the start that PSG were going to draw twice with a team that were expected to be third, we would not have been happy. And so they can't be happy, and it's their own fault.
But to be fair, and to be honest, it's pretty good for us, because it makes things a little more exciting when it comes to the draw for the knockout stages. When you take a look, as Gav mentioned, the possible opponents that PSG could now face. Obviously, those top of the group, with the exception of Benfica, who PSG are in the group with, Bayern, Napoli, City, Spurs, Chelsea, Real Madrid, or Porto. Like most of the teams, of course, who finished second, they'll be hoping for Porto, Stevie.
Absolutely. They don't want, I would imagine they don't want anything to do with anybody else. Yeah. And the truth is, Porto's not a bad side, and they're pretty good going forward. So, yeah, they've got themselves in a right sticky wicket.
They really.
I would say Porto. I honestly would say Porto, Chelsea, Tottenham.
Right.
Not in that particular order, but I don't think Chelsea are in great shape. Sure. We know Tottenham. We know how they play, and they've got another injury on top of that now to Heung-min Son, who's got a fracture around the eye socket, so he's going to be out for a bit. Although by the time this comes round, he should be fine, and they should have their injuries back again. But yeah, there are 2 or 3 sides there that have got themselves into this knockout stage, and it's not going to be good news for them either. No. It's not just not good news for PSG, it ain't good news for 2 or 3 of those. But if they pull one of the real big guys, I think it was Gab or somebody mentioned it, Bayern Munich, even Napoli, they do not want to play Napoli, because that's going to be a tear-up if Napoli are still in that kind of form. So yeah, it makes it kind of exciting for the neutral.
Yeah, very much so. Exciting for us, not for your teammate Julien Laurent, Gab.
No, not a happy bunny, and we'll be talking about it tomorrow, no doubt, on the Gab and Jules show. But look, all I'm going to tell him is, hey, look, Paris Saint-Germain were playing Juventus, a team which had 12 players out through injury and suspension, had a bunch of teenagers on the pitch, and you know how much Allegri hates playing teenagers. All you had to do was score a third goal, and you would have been fine.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.